everyone, Brienne here from Hooked on Homemade Happiness. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 8 of the Mandala Blanket Crochet Along. If you are just joining us, I will link part 1 down below so that you can start at the very beginning, and then I will also have the written portion for part 8 linked below as well. So last week we started to square out our blanket for this final shape. We're getting to the end here, starting to wrap things up. We're going to be repeating this cluster section here and these V-stitches just to continue to create our square for our final blanket as we're coming towards the end. So we ended part 7 in round 49. So here in round 50, I have joined to my first cluster here with a slip stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch over to this chain 2 space and change to color C for round 50 here. And I will be starting with a cluster. I'm going to start with some treble clusters because this corner is still a little bit low and we want to bring it up just to create that nice square shape. So I'm going to start with a chain 3. And I'm going to do a 2 treble cluster in this space. So I'll yarn over twice. And in this space, there we go, pull through 2 and pull through 2. There's 1 unfinished treble. And then pull through all 3 loops for our 2 treble cluster, chain 2, and then we're going to do 1 more of those in the same space for our corner. And pull through all 3. So there's our corner space here in round 50. And then I'm going to chain 1. And now we're going to be working in these spaces between these 2 double crochet clusters from our previous row. So here in my next chain 1 space, I'm going to do a 2 double crochet cluster in the chain 1 space. And then chain 1. And we're going to do this across until you have 10 of these 2 double crochet clusters. So 2 double crochet cluster in the chain 1 space, and then chain 1. So repeat that until you have 10 of the 2 double crochet clusters. And then this is going to be 10. I'm going to end with a chain 1. So you should have 1 more cluster left here, and then we have this chain 1 space right before the V-stitch. So you should have 1 more cluster and chain 1 space left over after you've done your 10 2 double crochet clusters. So now I'm going to half double crochet V-stitch in each of these chain 1 spaces in each of these 7 half double crochet V-stitches. So half double crochet in this chain 1 space of the V-stitch, chain 1, and then half double crochet in that same chain 1 space of the V-stitch, and do that 7 times, so in each of these V-stitches. So here's my last half double crochet V-stitch. And then now I'm to this large scallop here. So I'm going to end with a chain 1, and then I'm going to skip 1 and single crochet in the next, and then single crochet in 8 more for a total of 9 single crochet. And then there's my 9 single crochet. So here's my 9 single crochet. Now I'm going to half double crochet in the next 2. So you should be in the half double crochet now. So half double crochet in the half double crochet, and then half double crochet in the next. Now I'm going to double crochet in 2. So it should be 2 double crochet. So double in the double. Now we're going to half double crochet in 5. So you should be in these clusters here and chain 1s. So I'm going to half double crochet in the cluster, half double crochet in the chain 1, half double crochet in the cluster, in the chain 1, and in the cluster, Now into this next double crochets, I'm going to double crochet in 2, half double crochet in 2, now single crochet in 5. So that means you're single crocheting in the single crochet, in the single crochet, and then single crochet in this long double crochet here, single crochet in the single crochet, and in the single crochet will give you 5. So again, we're going to half double crochet now in the next 2, double crochet in the next 2, half double crochet in 5 across this cluster section here. So in the cluster, in the chain 1, in the cluster, half double crochet in the chain 1, and then in that third cluster here. Now double crochet in the next 2, half double crochet in the next 2, and then we're going to single crochet in 5, so now we're to this side of our last scallop, so we're going to single crochet in 4 more, and then you should have 1 single crochet left here. So we're going to chain 1, skip that last single crochet, and half double crochet V-stitch in this chain 1 space of the V-stitch. So half double crochet, chain 1, and half double crochet. So do that until you have 7. So in each of the V-stitches, you're going to do the half double crochet V-stitch. So you will have 7 total. So here's my last half double crochet V-stitch. I have 7 V-stitches. And now I am at where the clusters begin. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip this chain 1 space, skip the next cluster, and 2 double crochet cluster in the next chain 1 space. And then chain 1. And then 2 double crochet cluster in the next chain 1 space, and chain 1. Repeat this until you have 10 2 double crochet clusters. So here's my last chain 1 space before my corner, and I have 10 2 double crochet clusters. I will end with that chain 1 here, and this is your pattern repeat for round 50. So we're just continuing with these 2 double crochets clusters, continuing with those V-stitches, and then really straightening out the top of our scallops here, and repeating those V-stitches and 2 double crochet clusters on the other side. So repeat this all the way around for round 50. So here is round 50, and you should end with 80 of the double crochet clusters, 56 V-stitches, and 8 of the treble crochet clusters in your corner. So in round 51, we're going to be doing something very similar. So I'm going to switch to color A in my corner for round 51. So here's my join, and I'm going to change to color A here in my join, and I'm going to start with a chain 2, and with a 2 double crochet cluster, chain 2, 2 double crochet cluster in my corner. There's my cluster, chain 2, and then 1 more in that space. And here is my corner. Now I'm going to chain 1, and then I will 2 double crochet cluster in the next 11 chain 1 spaces. So 2 double crochet cluster here in the next chain 1 space, chain 1, and then cluster in the next chain 1 space. So repeat this until you have 11 of the 2 double crochet clusters, not including your corner. So this next space here is going to take me to 11 double crochet clusters and then chain 1. So that should be the space between the last cluster and in the next V-stitch. So that very last chain 1 space before your V-stitches should be your 11th double crochet cluster. So I'm ending with that chain 1, and then I'm going to V-stitch in the chain 1. So I'm going to do a double crochet V-stitch here in this next chain 1 space. So just double crochet, oops, try that again. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet in that half double crochet V-stitch. So I'm going to do that across until I have 8 of these double crochet V-stitches. So that is going to take you in each V-stitch plus that last chain 1 before the scallops begin. So you should have 8 of these V-stitches. So here is, I've done the last V-stitch in the V-stitch. So here's my last chain 1 space, and this is going to make it 8. So I'm going to V-stitch in this chain 1 space in between the half double crochet and single crochet here. Oops. So there I have 8 V-stitches here. Now I'm going, end with the chain 1, sorry, another chain 1 there, skip 2 and single crochet in the next. And now I'm going to single crochet in 45. So I already have 1 and then single crochet in the next 44 to make a total of 45 single crochet. So we're just single crocheting across all of these scallops. So here I have 45 single crochet, and you should just make it all the way across all of those scallops, and it should give you pretty straight edge here across the top of those scallops. So I have 2 single crochet left on my scallop on this side. Here's my 45 single crochet. I will chain 1. I have 2 left. I'm going to skip those 2 and double crochet V-stitch in this chain 1 space right after that single crochet. And then we're going to V-stitch in each chain 1 space across these half double crochet V-stitches. So you will have a total of 8 V-stitches. Here's my last V-stitch where I will have 8 double crochet V-stitches here. So I should have taken you all the way across this section, and then chain 1, and we're going to double crochet cluster in this very next chain 1 space after the V-stitch. And then chain 1. Double crochet cluster in the next chain 1 space and chain 1. So repeat that until you have 11 double crochet clusters. So there I have 11 of the 2 double crochet clusters, and I ended with a chain 1, and I'm ready to start my repeat over again at my corner with the 2 double crochet cluster, chain 2, 2 double crochet cluster for the corner, repeating those clusters and V-stitches. Now we really should have a straight edge here across this first section of this side, and then we're almost even with the top. We have a pretty straight section across these scallops in the center here with those single crochets. And again, repeating on the other side with the V-stitches and clusters, we should have a really straight edge on the side here. So repeat this all the way around for round 51. So here is round 51, and you should end this round with 96 clusters, 64 V-stitches, and 180 single crochet. So in round 52, it's going to be very similar to what we did in 51, and we will be changing to color B in the corner. So here I have changed to color B, and I'm going to start with a chain 2. I'm going to have the same corner that I did previously, so I'm going to 2 double crochet cluster and chain 2, and then 2 double crochet cluster here in my corner space. And then we're going to chain 1. You're going to 2 double crochet cluster in the chain 1 space. And chain 1, and repeat this until you have 11 2 double crochet clusters, not including your corner. So that should take you to the last chain 1 space in between clusters, and you should have 1 chain 1 space before the V-stitch. So we're going to skip that chain 1 space, so end this repeat with your chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space, and V-stitch in the next chain 1 of the V-stitch. You're going to V-stitch in the next 8 chain 1 spaces, so make sure you have 8 V-stitches. So here I have my 8 V-stitches. I have 1 V-stitch in each V-stitch from the previous row. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to skip this next chain 1, skip the next 2 single crochet, and then starting in the next single crochet in the next 41. And that should take you all the way across these scallops here, and you should have 2 single crochet left on this side. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to skip the next 2 single crochet, skip this chain 1 space, and V-stitch in the next chain 1 space of the V-stitch. And then I'm going to V-stitch in the next 7 V-stitch for a total of 8 V-stitches on this side. So here are those 8 V-stitches, 1 V-stitch in each V-stitch on this side. And then I will chain 1. I'm going to skip this next chain 1 space here, and then in the next do the 2 double crochet cluster. And chain 1. So do your 2 double crochet cluster, chain 1 until there are 11. So here are those 11 double crochet clusters, and that should take you all the way to the corner. End with that chain 1, and then we're going to start this repeat over with your 2 double crochet clusters in the corners, and then you have those 11 clusters here and your 8 V-stitches. And then here in the center, there should be 41 single crochet across where those scallops were. And then ending the other side the same way with the 8 V-stitches and then your 11 double crochet clusters. So repeat this all the way around for round 52. So here is round 52, and you should end round 52 with 96 clusters, 64 V-stitches, and 164 single crochet. So the next round, round 53, will be the final round here in part 8, and we're going to be changing to color C. So here is my corner. I'm going to slip stitch to the chain 2 corner space and change to color C and start with a chain 2, and we're just going to continue our same corner space with a 2 double crochet cluster, chain 2, and then another 2 double crochet cluster in that corner chain 2 space. And then chain 1, and we're just going to continue the same pattern. We will do a double crochet cluster in the chain 1 space, and then chain 1, and continuing to double crochet cluster in the chain 1 space until you have done that 12 times, until you have 12 clusters, not including your corner. So here will be 12 clusters, and that should be the very last chain 1 space before the V-stitches begin. So still include that chain 1 after your cluster, and it should be that last space before the V-stitches. So now we're going to V-stitch in each chain 1 across until we have 9 V-stitches. So in this last chain 1 space before the single crochet start, that's where I'm going to put my 9th V-stitch. So I have 1 V-stitch in each V-stitch here, and then place 1 more in that final chain 1 space before the single crochets start for 9 V-stitches. And then chain 1, and again we're going to skip 2, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 37. So here's 37 single crochet, and there are 2 single crochet left across this center section here. So here's my 37 single crochet. I will chain 1, and then I'm going to V-stitch in this chain 1 space right here. So skip the next 2 single crochet, V-stitch in the next chain 1 space. And then continue to V-stitch in each of the chain 1 spaces across the V-stitches here. So you will have 9 total V-stitches. So here is 9 V-stitches. I have 1 in each chain 1 space across here, and then chain 1, and in the very next chain 1 space after this V-stitch, we will double crochet, cluster there, and chain 1, and then repeat that until you have 12 double crochet clusters. So here are my 12 2 double crochet clusters, and that brings me all the way to my corner where I will start my repeat for round 53 over again with the 12 double crochet clusters on this end, followed by your 9 V-stitches here, and then 37 single crochet in this middle section. It really should be very straight at this point across the top here. And then on the other side, repeat those 9 V-stitches and 12 clusters. So repeat this all the way around for round 53. So here's round 53, and you should have 104 clusters, 72 V-stitches, and 148 single crochet. And this is the final round here in part 8. We should have a pretty straight edge across all sides here. Next week in part 9, we will finish out creating the square shape and the final shape for our blanket, and we are getting so close to the end. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next Friday for part 9.